Yo, Laurent,
Yo,
why you look so stressed, bro?
stress? What would I be stressing about?
I don't know. You look like you're stressed.
Nah,
Blue,
man,
the Blue Jays has him stressed.
that's crazy, bro. Because I mean, clearly you seem to be more updated than I am on that.
Me?
Yeah,
What makes
yeah,
you say
yeah.
that?
Yo,
I heard you watched the game
what
from
team?
beginning to end.
What team are we facing tomorrow?
They're playing the LA Dodgers, is it?
Okay.
Mm,
And who's the name me one of their pitchers?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I have no idea. I know Dodgers have one of the best is he a pitcher? One of the best apparently of all time is this Japanese guy. What's his name?
Shohei?
Yeah, is that his name?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I heard he's nice. Like I heard he's like a goat.
Yeah, he hits and pitches.
Okay. That versatility.
Mm,
Moving like Declan Rice.
mm.
I rate it
Yo,
still.
Laurent, seriously, bro, why you look stressed, bro?
what makes you think I look stressed?
Um, Centurions doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Champions League doesn't look like anything's gonna happen.
That is crazy because Champions League is very early, man. Oh, even in the Premier League, man, things are we're not even halfway through.
You're right. You're right. But it's the eye test. It's the it factor. And Chelsea's missing it.
Well, what are they missing?
They're missing the it factor.
Okay, which is what?
They're
Talk to me.
they're addicted to red cards.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's missing an it factor if you're saying that's the only thing, right? Addicted to red cards.
They're missing a back four. They're missing a keeper. They're missing a head coach.
Okay. And what else? And y'all are
Uh,
missing a bunch of trophies, right? Trophy.
hey, there it is. But is yours gold?
Wow, here we go again with this. I actually had to think about that one because I don't know what you were referring to, bro. Yeah.
You clearly know what I'm referring to. So,
Had to had to dig far back in the memory database for that one,
but yours is gold?
Are you talking about our CLs? What are you talking about? What are you referring to? Our CL or
Is any
huh?
of it gold?
Our Club World Cup is gold. Only team to win it.
The World Cup is gold? The trophy's gold?
Yeah, it is gold actually.
The Club World Cup is gold.
Yeah, it is gold.
So you had a Club World Cup without the best teams in it, and you're claiming that.
I'm pretty sure we beat the team that wait, the team that didn't you guys face that team? Yeah, yeah, the team that you guys got dismissed by last season in the CL. No?
Dismissed by is that's a bold statement.
Yeah, no, 3-1 on aggregate last time I checked. They sent you guys packing,
Hmm,
right? Or am I missing something from history?
I think you are.
You tell me, right? Because they say history is written by the victors, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that I have all my facts correct.
Yeah, but you still haven't answered. Is yours gold?
Yeah, our Club World Cup. The
Hmm,
only the only team to currently have that trophy. Yeah, it is gold.
hmm.
That's why you have the gold thing on the crest. I don't know if you've been noticing that recently, right? The gold
No.
patch.
The only thing I've been noticing is the red cards.
Ah, okay, okay. Well, hey man,
It's almost like you're attracted to the red as well because you're wearing a red shirt.
that is not red, by the way.
Oh, let me guess,
Yeah.
you're gonna say burgundy? Well, burgundy is also Arsenal's color too. So,
Okay, but just letting you know, it's not red.
mm,
It's right. Yeah, yeah,
mm, mm.
yeah. I think your eye test is failing you there.
Why? Because they said it's burgundy afterwards.
You tell me, bro. I think you were aiming at red, and I
It's the same. It's
you
just
said it's
it's a derivative of red. So
a derivative of red. Well, in other news, right? Just
it's
like
not a
the
derivative of blue because we rarely see you in blue.
Yeah, just remember, bro. Only London team to have won the Champions League. All right,
Okay.
all right. Let's get that. Let's get that. So you got to put some respect on that
So then what's gonna
before,
happen when Arsenal win it this year?
but you're not. That's the funny part. You're not. You're not winning it.
You want to make a bet?
It's cute though. I like that. You guys, you get a solid victory against Atletico, and suddenly you guys feel like you guys have on top of the world, right? You've conquered things, right? After beating Atletico for, I think that's where the confidence is coming from.
No, the confidence is coming from how many goals have we been giving up in all games across all competitions so far?
Oh man, well, I think
Let me
you
make it
forget,
simple for you. The
you
number is
forget.
the same number as the number of hosts that we have on this show.
I think you forget. It's cute. It's a good stat. It's a good stat. Remember, right? The Champions League has a knockout stage. All right, and that's when things get interesting. So all these
Hey,
group
when was the last time
matches.
that you guys were in the knockout stage? Or were you in the Mickey Mouse League for the last couple of years?
Hold on, let me think back.
Wait, that's 5 years ago, right?
2021,
5, 6 years ago?
and then we won it, yeah, around that time.
6 years
Yeah,
ago.
we had to get through we had to get through a knockout stage to win it then too.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
you're in it 6 years.
yeah. How far do you guys make it in the competition?
Made it to the finals.
Oh, to the finals, eh? That's they give participation trophies for that, eh?
They actually do.
Yeah, yeah, the ones where
They
like
actually do.
when no, they put the, I think, no, it's medals. Like they'll put the ribbon
Yeah.
over your head, and usually the players, right? You can tell who's a serious player, who's not, because usually they're like ducking to get out of the way. Like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that second place. You've seen that. You guys have seen that, right? Like,
But
players do that.
you just re-entered the table.
Yeah, but we ate at the table. You guys haven't eaten at the table
Yeah,
yet.
you ate at the table, past
Oh,
tense.
okay, but you guys
And
have
you
never
got
eaten at
it.
the table. You
Oh,
guys have, ne
100% we have.
huh?
100% we have.
You guys have eaten at the Champions League table.
100%. We're not going back to this
Wait, what?
conversation. We're not going to back
Wait,
this.
wait. What year did you guys eat at the Champions League table, where you had the butlers serving you grapes and wine and oranges and all of that good stuff? What year?
What grapes and oranges are you on right now, bro?
Man, I honestly, you know what? I actually hope you guys do win it this year, man. Because if you guys don't, it's just gonna be another year of banter for us, right? So I do hope you guys do come ahead and deliver, because I think Arteta has rent that is due.
Mm.
Yeah, he has serious rent, and even this Premier League competition, man. We're seeing a revamped Liverpool, right? Arnie Slot and the new tactics. So I think it's
New
good.
tactics? Are you insane?
I'd say there was he did try he did try something new there with that game. Um, Mind you, Salah was benched for a majority of that game, right? Which to me is a solid statement from that manager, right? And they just look good. Even Florian Ritz showed up about time, right? That the guy.
Yeah, because he's playing in a Mickey Mouse league. He's not playing in the Prem. He's playing in the German league.
Wait, what do you mean? We're talking about the Champions League here.
I understand that, but he showed up in the Champions League. He hasn't shown up in the Prem. CJ's Player of the Year hasn't even showed up. He hasn't even started. He hasn't even kicked on.
Oh, so you're calling the Champions League a Mickey Mouse League, eh?
The team that he faces is a Mickey Mouse team. Yes.
Man, at the end of the day, bro, Champions League is Champions League. Mind you, like I said, it is group stage. It is still early, right? I think we had a goal fest this week.
Yeah, there was like the Tuesday, there was 43 goals combined.
And yeah, I noticed some people were a bit worried about that, seeing how the new format has made it less competitive. Personally, I don't know what the stats are compared to how it was previously and what the goals were during the stage. But yeah, that was a bit weird to me actually. Just even the like, because goals were leaking left and right almost all games. But other than that, I think it's good to see the kind of performances that the teams are putting up. But all of this, right? You have to show up in the knockout. It doesn't matter if you do it now and you can't replicate when it counts, right? So good to secure your spot. But those same teams, man, have to show up because, like I'm telling you, man, and Atletico, right? If they find a way to squeeze in, I think you'd be damned. We'd all be damned if they had that kind of game that they had against you guys, right? I think you guys scored in the 13 minutes, no?
4 goals.
All those goals.
Yeah,
Yeah, all those scores, right? Yeah, it's a lapse of concentration on their part, you can say. And you guys capitalize on that, right? So well
that's
done.
harsh.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you not giving us any credit for that win?
Harsh. A lapse of concentration for 13 minutes. We dominated the entire game.
No, but it definitely was a lapse of it is a lapse of concentration. Like you can't deny that it's a team that, for one, because they're known to be quite defensively sound, right? Even in the way they're set up, and it would not be accurate to say that, right? You're scoring against a team of that caliber, 13 goals in 4 minutes. Yes, you guys played well, but there is a lapse of concentration on their end. That's
you
why
have to give more credit to Arsenal than it
but
is
that's
a
why I
lapse
said
of
you
concentration.
guys capitalized, right?
No,
Like,
no, that's the relentless pressure that we put them under. They were under siege.
Yeah,
They were
100%.
under siege. No, I don't.
bro, we've all seen the same Atletico Madrid teams be under siege in past tournaments, in past games against, frankly, should I be honest, better attacking opposition. All right, and we have seen them, right, play these same kind of games and not buckle in 13 minutes the way they did versus you guys.
Yes,
So
and that's because of the pressure, as Mehrdad said, that we
yeah,
put
but
them under.
again, I've said against other teams with better attacking than you
But
guys.
also, you
And
have the best players on there, but it also comes down to the system and the way that they're pulling players out of their positions.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm
now
oh,
we're plotting the Arteta system,
I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry. We're not
Huh?
we're not we're not gonna do that, man. It has nothing to do with a lapse in concentration. It's more the quality of Arsenal that is just, there's certain things you just can't defend, right? That first ball that, and if we're gonna get into the game now, we can. But that ball that Declan Rice put in for that first goal, that's undefendable. I don't care how good your back line is. He put in a ball on the money for any attacking defender to go and head in. That's not a lapse of concentration. That's pure quality and technique of the ball that's being put into the box. And same thing with the second goal, the Myles Lewis-Skelly. You think if they all just stood there and said, "Oh, let Myles Lewis-Skelly run through the midfield"? That's down to pure quality and ability to drive through midfield to get past 3, 4 players
Yeah,
and lay it on the plate. And then the finish, obviously, itself is exquisite. That had those two goals have nothing to do with a lapse of concentration. That's quality. That's more quality than
I think
anything
it's
else.
it's poor defending. If you're telling me that is good defending, then we are not on the same page.
I
That
don't.
is
We're
poor.
quoting what you just said. You said lapse of concentration. It's
Yes,
not a lapse of concentration.
when you defend poorly, it is lapse of concentration. For
Not
that moment,
necessarily.
bro, when you defend poorly, especially like you have, we're not talking about a team that is known to be defensively poor. That's not the narrative of this team. We all know that,
Right.
right? Right,
And
exactly.
we
So
forced them into poor defending because
not,
of our
bro,
relentless
not
pressure
bro.
and quality.
There's a guy in the midfield, right? I think there was about three guys near him when he picked up the ball there in the
Mhm.
halfway, right? In the
yes.
halfway, yeah, they went to sleep momentarily, and he saw the gap, and he went through it. That's what I'm saying.
You're not giving
Oh
any
my
credit.
God, that's
Yes, when I
crazy,
say
bro.
when I say that someone capitalizes on it, by default, I'm crediting that the person, right, or that individual took advantage of the mistakes. Of course.
No.
Yeah,
It's more the
yes.
bravery of the player to
Oh my
drive. How many players
gosh.
are going to drive through? How many players are going to have the bravery and the quality to take the ball in that moment on the halfway line and drive through at least 3, 4 players? How many
Bro, so
Chelsea players are doing that? How many? You know what I mean? Like
what?
it's the
Bro,
quality of the
I can
player.
name you I can name you a player on Chelsea, a bunch of players that would do
Yeah,
that.
Chelsea's
But
fullbacks
but beyond
has Gusto done that?
but beyond that, right? Again, like I'm saying, right? When a team is known to be solid defensively, that's what they're known for mostly, right? You have
Right.
to. It's not a team that is poorly defensive, and that, right, you've done that. No, this is a team that is known to be strong defensively, and they
Right. So we
play
made them look poor in that sense.
again. Like I said, right? It's a team, right? When you just look at defense, what like is expected of of defenders and how to defend, that was not on display. Like after the first goal, right? That, especially that goal that you're crediting, and I can even say beyond that run, right? Beyond that run, I did see whoever was their defender there. I forgot the name, right? In a situation like this, it would have been better for him to have picked up Martinelli and allow for the shot of Skelly, as opposed to just allowing to, because he tucked in more so towards the middle, and he allowed Martinelli right on the left side, and
But
that's
that's what
how
happens.
and that's how the pass
But
went.
that's what happens. Sometimes, as if he doesn't go into to engage it with Myles Lewis-Skelly, then yes, Myles Lewis-Skelly is walking into the box and says, "Thank you very much." That's part of the act. That's part of the play. Is that as Myles Lewis-Skelly is getting closer to the box, obviously the fullback has a decision to go and engage or stick with Martinelli. If he sticks with Martinelli, then yes, of course, Skelly is going to keep driving into the box and has a clear run at goal. That's what happens. That's part of the game. That's how you draw the opposition in. And again, goes back down to the quality of the player. When Messi is dribbling through 3-4 guys in his prime, right? At some point, you have to go and engage the player, which opens up spaces for other people. That's just football 101, right? That's defending 101. Of course, he has to at some point go and engage in the player, or else the player is going to run right through in the butt, and that's what you can't do. Obviously, as a defender,
I
you're
think
in a vulnerable.
to allow the shot would have been the better, statistically speaking, would have been, I think, the better alternative. Because if you allow that pass, all the guy has to do is open up his body and far post. And that's
What?
any.
Bro, you're acting no. So now we're discrediting even more of this. You're saying
Wait,
that was
you
an
don't
easy
agree?
finish, bro.
You
That
don't,
was a difficult first time finish, Henry-esque finish.
bro. Okay, let's not say Henry-esque. All right,
But that's an
because
Henry
I
style
think
finish.
and I think you downplay how many of those finishes or those types of finishes are done in the training ground. Right?
Yes,
Open up your
but
body.
the
That's something you
training
teach.
ground versus doing it in the Champions League in real time in a game is two completely different things.
Again, and that's why they practice these things, right? So that it becomes second nature, so that you don't think about it in the moment, right? You're not supposed
Oh
to think about it.
man, you're discrediting the professionalism of the technique and as if this is some easy thing to do, bro. That is
I'm
not easy whatsoever.
I'm not, but what I'm saying is, bro, like you're a professional player, right? You're trained. An attacking player is trained from the young age. Bottom corner, opposite of the keeper, open up your body, right? Either you hit
Sure.
low, right? Like either you hit low, and essentially that's what he did. But if you look at like the
How many times have you seen players get that wrong in that position? How many times versus how many times it goes in? Come on, man.
I mean,
You're
bro, come on.
discrediting
I think
the player.
I think like that, even that question, right? Like we'd have to actually, right, maybe ask Apta for the answer on that. But again, like I said, right?
You sound like
You
the
guys
Gary
can't,
Nevilles and the Carragers of the world who just don't want to give Arsenal the credit. Usually you're not
bro.
like that. Usually you're pretty objective. This is
I'm
a
get,
very subjective, bitter,
it's not.
salty response right now from you.
What's there to be salty about? Like I said,
You tell me, bro. You tell me.
there's nothing, bro. There's nothing to be salty about here. And like I said, right? It's the group stage. I think a lot of teams had, you know, even Liverpool, a 5-1 dominant victory, in quote.
I'm sorry, but I have to say
Um,
this is more of a our the margin of victory that we won by is the statement victory and result of the week in the Champions League because who even Barca who slapped what's their name Olympiacos got I think they got a red card in the game and that's when things finally opened up for Barca. You know the quality of the opposition that Liverpool played again to Mehrdad's point that's a poor Frankfurt side right and so on and so forth. I think you guys won by a big margin as well. And wasn't there a red card in that game? Didn't the Ajax player get sent off as well? So it's like, you know what I
Also,
mean?
that
Like
was
where
the dumbest red card, and Chelsea got lucky. That was
Wait,
the
that's a okay.
dumbest
If you're saying that's a
second
dumb red
yellow.
card, I think you're being highly subjective, and I don't think you've seen the play.
I
Um,
watched
you
the
you
play and I
you
saw
do
the
realize that that is that can break a player's leg, right? Let's just get it right. That can like seriously injure a player.
but his second yellow was for the arm that he went like this. That's why he got the second yellow.
Wait, are you being for real?
Oh, sorry, I got mixed up the Barca, man. That was the Barca Olympiacos.
Okay, all right, yeah, just making
Okay,
sure.
sorry.
All right. Yeah.
anyways, but the point of what I'm saying still stands. Like the
Because
victory that we had this week,
either way.
regardless of like let's put it this way, right? And this is what I mean by pundits and the Arsenal haters and you sounding like one at the moment, to be fair. This is
Bro,
what this is
there's no hate. It's expected. You guys are excited, right? 4-0 against Atletico. I'm just saying, don't let it get to your head. It is
no,
still early in the group stage.
but this is the point
It
that I'm making. If we lost or if we drew, right, there's a completely different narrative where people are still trying to clamp down our necks even more. You know what I'm saying? But if we win, and if we win by this margin, it becomes it's a different narrative, right? The narrative always changing. The
Wait,
narrative
wait. So
now is
what's it? What?
like
Okay, what was
it's
the
just a group
negative?
stage.
Wait.
It's
Hold on.
they
What was
Atletico
first?
was poor.
But it
Like,
is just a group stage. Like, let's not.
so
No,
what happens if we lose
why are
that game?
you undermining the
Huh?
group stage?
But
Last year, Liverpool finished first on the group stage, and they had no advantage. Of course, you want to finish as high as possible on the group stage because you don't have to play the additional knockout round. You're acting like the group stage doesn't matter. The group
No,
stage
no, no.
is
you
What I'm
still have to
saying is,
perform,
no.
though.
That's why I said, and if you remember, right, I said that this is good. All the teams are winning these games to position themselves for right, and I did use that word to position themselves. So I'm not denying, right, that there is a certain level of importance to these games. But what I'm saying is, and remember, the team that won it last year did not perform well in the group stage. I don't think you guys realize that, right? The team that won it last year, that won the same competition, did not perform well in the group stage.
Yes.
it's because they had
Okay,
injuries in the first half.
okay,
Yes, but
okay.
they
So we
had
understand.
injuries. No, but there's a context that you're missing. They had injuries in the first half.
And I understand, but despite that, so what I'm saying essentially, right, is that this is good, right? Like these victories are good for one because I think on your end, you guys on the back of the performance of the last Premier League game, right? You guys were looking to for this kind of performance,
Yeah.
right? To validate that you guys do have the capabilities on the offense, right? So I'm saying in terms of validating that, right? It's good. It's good, but what I'm saying is just take it as a game and then move on to the next one, right? Because I'm pretty sure, right? If you're saying, okay, well, do we want to perform good here? Yes, but where does it count? It counts in the knockout. In a knockout, where you guys, if you make it to the semifinals, you want to make sure that your players are putting up the same type of performance you guys did against Atletico.
Of course, but it still counts for something now. That's the point. It still counts
Okay,
for
but no,
something
no
now
one's saying
because,
it doesn't count for
well,
anything. No one,
well,
no
well,
one
the
is
thing
saying
is,
that.
It
the
doesn't
reason
have.
why,
I'm not saying that. Yeah, and I don't think you guys are
essentially,
because
that's
I'm
kind of what you're saying.
no,
But also
no.
the reason why, listen, the reason why I had to jump in is because again,
Mhm.
you're downplaying the manner in which we performed to get the result. You're saying it's more of a lapse in concentration, quote unquote, on Atletico side as opposed to what we actually did. And I think that's unfair to Arsenal and the way we performed on the day because people like myself who've been hypercritical have been looking for that kind of performance against a statement team, not against a West Ham or a Wolves, with all due respect to them. This is Atletico Madrid, a side that you said we all know here has been a big European powerhouse, defensively sound, right? As we thought was going to be the case before the game, right? A manager who would set up to be defensively sound and so on and so forth. So I can't have it when we're saying now, oh, it's because Atletico was poor and a defensive lapse of concentration and all these things. Like we have to first lead with giving Arsenal the credit in the way they dismantled a side like this, to be honest with you, and the quality of the goals as well.
Let's move on. So start talking about some positives. Um, it was an unreal performance. 13 minutes, 4 goals put past them. Gyökeres had a brace. Martinelli scored a pure Brazilian goal, and I've been giving him a lot of shit for it. That was a very good finish. And then Gabriel does what Gabriel does best, gets his head on the ball. He had a goal and an assist. Um, that's the type of midfield that I want to see. That's what I've been crying out for out of Martin Odegaard, actually making plays and actually moving the ball and not going back, right? None of this lateral stuff, like go north south, stop going east west. Um, but for you, CJ, is that the type of performance that makes you happy with the system that Arteta has been able to build? Is that what you want to see moving forward, especially going into the weekend against Crystal Palace, who had I'm pretty sure they lost today, actually, uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
in the Conference League. So they're coming off a poor performance. Is that the same type of performance you want to see this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I think from what I was saying, right, the way the game, and again, me here being the person who criticizes Arteta, who criticizes the way he sets the team out, and so on and so forth, I think this was a great genius tactical performance from him as a manager, going up against somebody who has, let's just be honest, 10 times more experience than him. Especially on the European stage, right? We're talking about a manager who's been to 2 Champions League finals, who's won 2 La Ligas in a league with Barcelona and Real Madrid, who's won the Europa League, right? So we're talking about a well-credited, respected manager here, and again, Arteta's big little bro compared to Diego Simeone when you look at their CVs. So for him to come here and and outdo a Simeone team like that is like, I give him a lot of credit. I'll give credit where it's due to Arteta. And the way I saw the first half compared to the second half, it's like the first half was like two boxers, right? Feeling each other out, right? You're getting your jabs in. You're not landing the punch right away. That first half was very much like an in the balance kind of, sparring between two sides, right? Feeling each other out kind of thing. But then it's like, yeah, in the second half, we took off. And I really do. We mentioned it obviously in the first opening banter segment of this, but I really do want to credit the goals and the way we scored them, because I don't think anybody can and should downplay the quality that it took to score the goals that we did on the day. We were relentless for a good 15-minute spell, and pretty much most of that second half. Because we got the first goal very early on, right? So, and I was gonna make this point even before Laurent, was mentioning the lapse in concentration thing. The first goal, like, I just can't, like, that ball is almost undefendable. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, we have to start talking about Declan Rice as one of the best set piece takers um, in the world, to be honest with you. His delivery, right? The trajectory of his deliveries, the pace and the whip in which he gets the ball in, you cannot. It's almost impossible to defend. It's like asking somebody to go and head that and attack it and put it on a plate, and that's pretty much what Gabriel did, right? The manner in which he takes those set pieces is, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do to set your line up to defend that. It goes into a certain area and it's just begging to be attacked by Gabriel, and again, he did that, right? So that first goal opens up the game essentially, and it was a brilliant set piece that broke him down. And again, it's the quality of the delivery, right? But the second goal again is probably my favorite goal in the game, and probably honestly one of our best goals of the season so far. Like, again, it's down to the quality of that play, right? The ability, the bravery, and the skill of an 18-year-old. Let's remember it, right?
Audacity.
The audacity, right? He's been dropped to start this season for Calafiori, comes in, and it just goes to show the mannerisms of this kid, right? Gets on the ball on the half turn. Because if you can get that completely wrong, and then boom, they're in on your goal, right? With the amount of players that were around him. But the ability, the quality that he had to, get on the half turn, drive, drop a shoulder, and drive through two or three players. Again, I do not necessarily believe. Yes, some can say it's poor defending. It's not a lapse of concentration, because they all knew he was there and on the ball. They didn't just stop like pylons. He had the close control, he had the strength and the pace to get away from two or three of those players, if not more. And so once he gets closer to the box, he then attracts that player who should have been marking a Martinelli, right? Which is why Martinelli ends up having the space that he does, because as he's driving into the box, if that defender stays with a Martinelli, for example, instead of engaging the player, Myles Lewis-Skelly can just drive straight into the box, and he's in on goal without being confronted. So that defender has to go and close down Myles Lewis-Skelly, or like I said, as he just walks right into the box. Once that defender goes and closes Lewis-Skelly down, that's when Myles Lewis-Skelly lays the ball off to Martinelli. And as he's running at full speed like that, the weight of the pass, right, shouldn't be undermined either, because you can either overhit those passes in some cases or underhit it, right? But Martinelli, it pretty much goes right into his stride with the way he laid that off, right? When you're running at full speed like that, that could be a difficult pass at times, and he laid it perfectly onto the plate of Martinelli. The weight of the pass is perfect, and it allows Martinelli to finish first time like that. And I did call it an Henry-esque finish, because that's exactly what it is. Arsenal fans will know this. If you're close to the club, you know that who's the one player that used to do that all the time and pretty much trademark that finish. It's Thierry Henry, right? Edge of the box, open up your body, put that ball into the bottom corner. That's why, Arsenal fans, we call that the Henry-esque finish, because he was famous for that. And Martinelli does have that in his locker. We've seen him score a couple of those goals when he's been at his pump over the years. So again, the fact that he did that again in this game, it goes to show that the form that he's on at the moment and the confidence that he has. Because I just think that he's been on the bench to start the season. He's been hearing, I'm sure, the narrative in the media over the summer and so on, that he should be sold and that he's finished. But he's come in this season hot, and that's 3-3 in the Champions League. And that finish was a finish of somebody who is not lacking in confidence. He's trying to prove his point, and he's trying to stake a claim to get back into the first team. So that finish was unbelievable. And as I was saying earlier, because you can get that wrong very easily. So how many times we've seen players sky that over the bar, it goes horribly wide, but inch perfect, right? Inch perfect, open up your body off the post and in, just past a world-class keeper in Oblak, right? Let's get that in there. We're talking about a world-class keeper, and to beat him with the margins that he did, high credit to the finish. So overall, that was one of the best goals of the season for me, if not the best. And we have to say that it's probably one of the best of the calendar year if you're going to put that in the top 10 highlights, right? That's a beautiful goal, and it's something we don't see often. For those who, like myself, we've been criticizing, we only score from set pieces, this and that. Well, that was football art 101 right there. That goal, it was a beautiful goal. Um, and I think, looping you guys in, I mean, there's only one place to go next when we're talking about the next two goals, right? It's a certain Gyökeres, and how we've been, kind of everybody's been on him, including us, right? And rightfully so. When you come in with that CV and that price tag and so on, I'm so happy for the guy, really, really happy for the guy. And you see the players are as well, right? Sometimes they were scrappy goals, but sometimes they come how they come, right? Pause. You have to be in that position as a striker. They're scrappy goals, but you have to be there, right? You have to be in the position to finish your dinner, as they say. You know what I mean? So delighted for him. However it goes off, however it goes in, he needed it, and despite how he scored, right? It wasn't outside of the 18 rocket, but all that matters is at the end of the day, the score sheet says, Gyökeres has 2 goals, and we're happy for him, delighted for him, and hopefully he kicks on from here, and he's going to stay in my
Also,
FPL
can we
team.
just Gabriel Martinelli, what the fuck celebration was
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Man looked like a little kid in the playground trying to replicate the older kids. You know those ones?
Oh man. Oh jeez. That was cute. That was cute. Um
Hey man, I think, look, at the end of the day, like I said, we beat a team who was reputable in Europe, and you can see even Diego Simeone on the sidelines. Once those goals were going in, he even looked shell shocked. He looked lost. He looked void of ideas, and he came out with nothing but praise. We know this is a manager who's been pretty bitter and salty, and can be a sore loser in the past, but he came out in his press conference after the game with nothing but praise for Arsenal, right? And said that this is the best team we've played all season. This is an Atletico Madrid team who just slapped up Real Madrid not too long ago, 5-2. I don't know if you guys heard or saw that result. So I think nothing but praise for Arsenal in this game. And again, somebody who's a critic of the manager, our own manager, and so on. Like I don't have anything negative to say. I think everything was pretty spot on in this game, the way we dealt with it. And again, the way we were sparring and jabbing and playing that little game of chess with them in the first half, going in at 0-0 halftime, and then we kind of came out all guns blazing in the second half. So, but enough from me. We kind of got an early take on Laurent's thoughts. Maybe he sees it a little bit differently. Maybe he doesn't rate the game and the performance as much as we do, clearly. But yeah, Laurent, let's get your objective take on this now. Let's hear what you got to say.
Wait, I mean, we're not gonna go with Mehrdad first, because I feel like we've skipped him on this, no?
it's okay.
Okay. Well, again,
He'll rebuttal anything silly you might say.
oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, I think these games, especially right when you're playing an opponent who is of a certain caliber, right? It does come down to you having the ability, right, to capitalize on the chances that you get. Unfortunately, right, even for Atletico, they did have earlier chances. Funny enough, right, those were in fact due to clear lapse of concentrations on your part. I think David Raya, and I feel like there's probably like one more, but yeah, they weren't able to gain the lead from there. And we go into half, right? It's 0-0. First goal, right? Like you said, a good set piece. You know, your set piece coach or whoever that is, right? I think that guy deserves a raise, um, because clearly whatever he is doing
Okay.
or teaching you guys, yep, is clearly working, right? And it's highly effective. And now when that opens up the score, we're 1-0. And if we move on to the second goal, well, that's where I kind of have to disagree. I'm not taking away from the player and his decision making to create that. But again, the defending from Atletico was poor on that. For one, you have the first player, right? Beyond half. Skelly gets the ball. The player tries to intercept, right? He tries to intercept Skelly, as in like, because he thinks Skelly is going to pass it back, right? Which allowed then, right, Skelly to move forward, right? So you tell me, if that is the best type of defending, right? Where you would think that the best options usually is to push a player back, right? So you don't give him the space in front to make the run. Followed by that, right? At this point now, I think Skelly makes his way to the half, and he's surrounded by, I think, 2 players at that point. Now, if you notice, one of the players, for whatever reason, right, is trying to prevent a pass, a sideway pass, almost like a lateral pass. Okay, and what that essentially does is, again, it allows Skelly the reins to make the run. And I don't think that player was aware that he wasn't covered on the defensive side. If you look at the replay, right, that there was no one there for him to cover. So all Kelly had to do was simply hit the gas. And let's be real, any player with decent pace, right, with an open lane, as you can say, is going to have all the time in the world to keep dashing forward. And then essentially, right, he made the right pass. So the decision making for him, from Skelly, right, you cannot take away from that. It was the right play to make, given the type of defending he faced at that point. And essentially, right, that's what you do. You capitalize on the mistakes that your opponent makes, right? And all
You don't
in all,
think he
right?
forced the mistakes?
But Laurent,
No, because again, like I said, it all started from the first press, from the first man that press, right? The first man that press tried to intercept Skelly in a way that prevented him from making the pass back to the defender. Okay. Now, mind you, when you're doing that, right, and his team was not pressing with him in that manner, right? So the smartest thing to do in that sense is to simply neutralize the guy, right? So stay in front of him. If you stay in front of him, he does not make the run because he has nowhere to go, right? But it's the fact that you try to intercept, thinking he's going to make the pass back. He drops the shoulder. Now you're gone out of the equation. Now he's progressing up the pitch. The other guy that I was referring to, right? He's trying to prevent a lateral pass, which has no danger to it. That lateral pass, right, was to a player on the wing. Even if you give the player on the wing, your team has enough time to then regroup and defend that, right? So now he's positioned like this, and he's essentially giving Skelly the open lane. And like I said, any player with any decent pace is going to make that run because there's a space in front of him for him to make the run, right? So you tell me, man, if you think that's good defending, right? And right, like now it becomes a matter of opportunity cost, right? Which decision has the most damaging error behind it, right? And clearly, it was decisions that they made during that game. But like I said, right, on another end, a player like Skelly still has to make the decision for that, right? He has to react to the mistakes that they're making. Because if he doesn't, right, he could have just not made the run forward or looked to make a pass, right? And suddenly that goal doesn't happen, right? So I'm not saying no, there wasn't a certain level of work that he had to put in. But what I'm saying is on Atleti's part, right, it was not the best defending. And they through their mistakes or the decisions, they allowed that to happen.
I think more so he forced it, though, to be honest with you, because I'm sure they don't expect, because, and this is what I'll say, how many fullbacks have you seen score that type of goal or even have that bravery type of on the ball this season, right? I'm sure we would have to go through the archives and have a look at that. You don't see that many players in that position because he's almost last man, right? So I'm sure he caught the Atletico players in that area around him off guard, right? For the bravery to drive through, we don't see many fullbacks do that in this day and age, right?
Yeah, but it's their job to be on guard. And for one, like, come on, man, you know how much tape these guys view? Do you not think that there's someone on that Atletico side warning them that this is the type of player this kid does? He's done this before. Yeah. So it's
and that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse.
It makes it even worse for Atleti because I'm sure, right, you're being coached on this, right? You have to be aware of that, right? Why? And again, I pointed out 2 defenders that made those mistakes. You tell me the first guy, right? Skelly has the ball in his own half. Why are you trying to bite for a pass back that has no danger when your team isn't pressing with you? You tell me.
To be fair, on the first man, you did mention that Lewis-Skelly dropped the shoulder, right? So he dropped the shoulder to alleviate that player and also dismiss him entirely.
Funny enough, no. Again, I think it was almost like the player was trying to read the play before he even did that. if you see what I'm trying to say, right? When a
Yeah,
player is
okay.
anticipating, right, that he thinks that pass is going to go back, he's going to make the pass back, right? But if I'm the attacking player, right, and I'm again, like I said, it's easier said than done because things happen very quickly, in real time, right?
Yeah, he had so much more to do.
But what I'm saying is, right, is what is the safer play? The safer play is always to stay in front of your man. If he makes the pass back, let him pass it back to the and then they recycle the ball, right? That's the first guy. And then the second guy, he gets past that. Now he's moving up. He's gaining ground on the pitch, right? Why are you giving him an open lane in order to cover a lateral, a side pass to a player that poses no threat? You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
you could say that, yeah.
yeah, like and again, that's what I'm saying, right? It's like it was not the best defending, and that allowed that goal to. And by that point, what was good though is that second goal essentially was almost like when you referenced the boxing match, and that to me that second goal was almost like you're hitting like a sucker punch, right? And I think that to me that was when at that point you can say that the game was pretty much in your favor, right? Because you guys had the psychological grip on the game at that point,
Hmm.
right? And kudos to you. And again, that's for one, that's a supporting point for Arteta because this is the type of football that you're looking to have your players play. You score one, you don't want to sit back. You want to score more, right? And you want to take your opponent mentally out of the game. And essentially, right, that's what you guys were able
Well,
to
that's
do with
and
the with
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's also what I mean about having the
Mhm.
bravery to force a play like that. Because yeah, we even you, how many times have you seen an Arsenal player do that this season? It's always yeah, he probably wouldn't more often than not make that pass back or cycle around or like how many players in that position are going to do that? And that's exactly where I'm going with this. So yes, there are errors, but I think there are errors that were forced because of the bravery of the player. And again, he still had so much to do. Even after he beat that first player that you're referring to, right, where the first player made that mistake, he still has to keep that close control of that ball. He still has to get away and break away with pace. He still has to keep the ball in possession when a guy is tugging on his shirt from behind because the third or fourth guy did try and tug him. It's the strength as well as all the other things that go with it. It's the strength, it's the close control, it's the pace. It's very, very easy to get that wrong in that position. And I think that's the part that you're underestimating because there's so much more that goes to what he did. You know what I mean? You can easily take a one bad touch and then shit, I took a touch or went off my big toe or went off my toe, but as you're running with the ball and then shit, boom, I've lost control of the ball and then boom, you're still on the counter attack and you're out of position. Everything that he did in that whole sequence, he did to a T. Whether again, whether we think it's mistakes or not, he also forced that mistakes. And yes, like you said, they would have looked at the tape and said, okay, this is how this player plays, defend it. But how many times have we seen and Arjen Robben, for example? This is the best example I can give. Arjen Robben, everybody and their mother knew what Arjen Robben was going to do on the pitch whenever he stepped foot on there, right? He was going to cut into his left and bend it far corner. Everybody knew that. You would have watched the tape a million times on how to defend Arjen Robben, and you couldn't defend it. You see what I mean? And that's why some of these players are professional players and they go down in history as the best because the best players, the best defenders, they may know how to stop something and or they may think they know because they've studied it, they've done their analysis, they've done their homework, and you still can't stop it. That's just the quality of the player. You know what I mean? So of course they would have studied it ahead of time, but in that moment in time in the game, it's a case of I think they were more caught off guard of the run and of the player in that moment instance doing what he did because of the bravery again the player took to take that step to drive through the heart of that midfield because it is very easy to lose the ball in that situation. I think he more so forced the mistakes, to be honest with you, with the bravery and the play on the ball and the quality to do so. That's
let's
my thing.
yeah, let's move on. We can take this offline. Because we still have a lot to cover. I was just calculating there was 43 goals on Tuesday, Champions League games, and there was 28 Wednesday, so there was a total of 71 goals over the span of 2 days. Like it was a goal fest. Um, Man City and the robot, they continue like Erling Haaland needs to be stopped. I know CJ, you talked about it. I think the last couple pods that they're looking scary, and he just keeps scoring. He just keeps scoring, and I don't know if it's going to be an over reliance or not. But as long as he stays healthy, they're going to be dangerous, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Um, A game that I got right, even though we all predicted right, but CJ, I think you were the one who said, you thought Newcastle was going to win, but it wasn't going to be a dominant performance, and I had stated that it's going to be Newcastle was going to be too much, and they were 3-0. Gordon opened the scoring. Barnes scored two. Like it was too much. Like I said, it was going to be too much for that back line. And when you're playing Nicholas Otamendi against pacey wingers, you can't do it. He's almost 40. So, um, Laurent, you guys kept 11 on the field.
Yeah, I mean there was a red card, but it wasn't ours, so that's always a positive.
It was highly positive. You guys had 11 on the field.
Yeah, no. But I do think that's definitely a plus, especially given the recent stats on our defensive performances. Yeah, and the more advantage rate we have to close out games, the better. Yeah, so I'm happy for that.
And is that the performance that you want to see this weekend against Sunderland?
Um,
5-1 thrashing.
I mean, again, right? The goals are good. It's good to see your team score. Uh, Based off the game, again, I do think there's a lot of things to improve. And yeah, beyond just the fact that well, we have a victory, we add more points, we position ourselves better in the table. I think we just take the game as it is, and move on to the next one, right? Uh, I do appreciate what Maresca did with the formation and the players, right? He had Caicedo at right back. I don't know if
Mhm.
you guys noticed.
Yep.
That is something that I did mention earlier, a few pods ago, in terms of playing that player there. And I know you guys countered with the fact that, well, it's not his default position, right? He's a specialist more so at the defensive midfield role. But for whatever reason, there is a certain level of security that we have when he does play there. And right, mind you, given the other personnel that we have available, so that was quite interesting. And then Latvia as well, right? He's always solid, um, right? Generally in the defensive midfield role. Esteval, I think, was the highlight of the game for Chelsea. He played very well, very, very well. The type of wing play, right? On it's like the Yamin Lamal, right? That's the type of game that he had. I know your eyes are bulging out of your head. Just please get him back in right before we got to take you to the ER. But no, in all honesty, right? If you watch that game, if you rate, and again, that's why I keep telling you guys that Madueke, right, is almost selling you guys on something that is not necessarily there, right? Watch the footage of Madueke at Chelsea versus how Esteval was able to play on that wing, and you'll see the difference, right? It's not about the pace, right? It's a de-acceleration, the body feints, it's the angles, the distribution of the ball, right? You don't always have to be as a winger go cut run down the lane and then cross it in, right? Sometimes you have to change the angle of that ball, right? Maybe you come back and then that ball is coming in at a wider angle, right? Because it makes the pass even more dangerous for the keeper. Because now the keeper, right, almost like a Declan Rice ball, where you're saying it's spot on, it's whipped with pace, and the keeper doesn't know whether to come out, right? And even the defenders, right? And now if you have guys making runs in behind, all it takes is right a connection, and then that ball can go anywhere, right? So I was very impressed. And as a Chelsea fan, it is very exciting to see a winger with that type of ability. And unfortunately, right, I can't say the same for Tyreek George, which was the guy that took position um, on that side of the pitch later on when Esteval moved in the middle there. And you see the difference, right? Where a guy is not comfortable using the opposite foot, and it's detrimental, right, to any player because you have to switch it up, right? You have to keep those defenders on your toes, and it was very easy for those defenders to defend George. But yeah, all in all, positive game, and I do look for more improvement with the games to follow.
Um, Monaco Spurs, it was a snooze fest. I actually tuned in for that game. I don't know why. I was kind of
Same.
hoping that Mika Bierith and Balogun could do something, but it was a snooze fest. It was terrible. Um, I mean, it's a good result for Spurs away from home, like if we're being, objective. But I was very disappointed. I thought just the Arsenal boys, they were just gonna get up for it a little bit more than they did. Um, I guess the game that we were anticipating a lot, and I know we talked about it in the opening banter section. Liverpool did win. System was changed. It was a 4-4-2. Mohamed Salah was dropped.
Is that what it was? It was a 4-4-2.
Yeah, it was a 4-4-2. They came out. They when the lineup was released, it was released as a like a 4-3-3 with Ekitike playing on the right. He sacked down the middle and Gakpo on the left. But when they lined up, it was a 4-4-2. Um, Salah was not happy because I don't know if you guys saw it at the end of the game when he came on at the 73rd minute or something. As soon as the final whistle went, he went down the tunnel. He didn't even applaud the fans, and apparently on his X account, he took off anything Liverpool related.
Are you
Yeah, I saw all
serious?
that too. I
Yeah,
saw all this too. Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
I
that's
don't know
some,
why
I'm
he's
not
like
gonna
that.
lie. Yeah, that's some little girl shit, bro. Like,
You say that, but for like, listen,
nah, man. Like,
he
honestly,
deserves to
like,
be
there's no way.
dropped.
These are grown men, bro. Come on. And I understand what you're gonna say, right? With well, maybe that gets a reaction out of the club, almost like what Isak did, right? These players are trying to get these reactions out of the clubs, out of
Got
the
his
fans, and maybe,
contract. He
huh?
doesn't give a fuck. He got his contract. He doesn't give a fuck.
But then why do that? Why do that? Like, it's so immature. As just from purely a behavior standpoint, it is very immature.
I
It's not the first time too he's done something like that.
Yeah, I'll play both sides. From one side, I think it's a message to Arne Slot because I understand that out of all the players, he did deserve to be dropped. Like straight up,
He did, yeah.
he did deserve to be dropped. He did deserve to be dropped. He did deserve to for the lineup to be changed. All that deserved. However, the respect and what he's done for that club, you would have loved to see Arne Slot give him faith one more time to say, hey, this is your chance because of the respect that he's earned over the years. So I don't, not a fan of it, not a fan of what he did, but I mean, like I said, this, Arne Slot is not a good people manager. He's never had to manage big personalities. And CJ, you're smiling, but my point's being proven. My point's being proven. Sure they won, but i- the locker room is uncertain, and there's a lot more things coming. Like Isak is injured now, so what do? You have to go back to Salah, but you broke his confidence, and you got him on your wrong side.
Bro, if a player's confidence is broken by that, then you were never a mentally strong
Yeah.
player to
I
begin
don't
with.
know about that.
There's no way, bro. There's no way.
Yeah.
Whether it's confidence or whether it's trust or whether it's you're getting a player on your bad side, like it was poorly managed.
But honestly, yeah, to me, I think as for one, as a bro, you can't be like the who's the guy on the NBA on the NBA side where he had LeBron dictating the play during the timeout. You can't be that type of coach. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to impose. Like, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where LeBron literally came in and
Cameron Williams.
told the
Yeah,
manager to
Cameron
fuck
Williams.
off, bro. And then he's like, all right, he drew the plate. Like, nah, man. You're the coach. You're there for a reason. So in
I
doing
agree.
that,
I
yeah,
agree.
in doing that, right? Like you send a message.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You have to send a message. And I know you said, well, give him one more chance, but how many games has it been? Right? We're
Yeah.
already a few games deep into the season, and he has not looked his best. I'm sure those chances came in the previous games. I'm sure because there's no way, bro. He did not play well at all, right? And again, he came in, and do you guys see what he did? Right? He had the chance to square it to
Verts.
yes, to Verts. You see, and that's what I'm talking about. It's things like that where you're trying to be the big guy. Right? If it truly you're there for the club, right? Make that pass. You square it, and that's a sixth goal, right?
And I agree. I actually don't think it was poorly managed by Slot in that case because if anything, he's sending a message. He's showing some cojones, as they say, right? He's saying that nobody is undroppable. I don't care Salah, if you've been here longer than me, I don't care how much you've done for this club. If you're not performing, then you're not in the lineup. I rate that and I respect that and I appreciate that from him. And Salah's reaction to that further justifies, if Slot left him out again, which I don't think he will, to be honest. But if he left him out again, it would be justified again because you're testing the player as well and seeing how they manage those situations. How do you manage when you're dropped, right? Are you going to have professionalism and are you going to show maturity, or are you going to act like a child, right? You're going to see which way he sways, and obviously Salah didn't handle that well. And again, we've seen him do that with Klopp and things like that whenever he's been taken off in the past. So I don't rate that. I don't appreciate that from the player's perspective, right? The manager is showing that nobody's bigger than the club, and Salah has to act accordingly, in my opinion.
I agree. And a player that stature should know better, but just by default,
Mm-hmm.
not to even do that. And sorry, before you interject, Mehrdad, and I think what Arteta has said, right, in regards to doing your talking on the pitch, I think that's what's the most important, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you feel that you're being dropped for those reasons, then it's as simple as just right, hit your form. You can
Mm-hmm.
perform at that level. Come in next game and like bust your ass, make the right decisions, and by all means you'll be in the lineup the next game. So yeah, no.
We'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if on the weekend Frimpong plays over Salah if he really wants to send a message. But I think Salah's going to come right back into the starting lineup with Ekitike and Gakpo. Um,
I have a quick question, guys. Actually for Laurent. So you said you noticed as well. You said, Laurent, even before we started talking about the game, you said that there was a tactical difference in this game from Slot. I just wanted to ask you, once we got to the section, what did you notice that was different? And also, do you see it the way Mehrdad was saying? Like, was it actually a 4-4-2 in the way you saw it? Like, what was the tactical differences? Because I didn't actually get to catch the
Well,
game.
sorry. So I'm saying more so in the fact that he was even willing to put Ekitike and Isak on. Right. It seems like he put one of them on the wing.
Ekitike
Um.
was playing on
Yeah.
the, but it was
Yeah.
like a 4-4-2 that they would, when they were attacking, they would split, but then when they were defending, it was a,
They're 4-3-3 when they're
yeah,
defending.
no,
Okay.
when they're attacking.
So when they're attacking, it's 4-2-2, and when they're defending, it's 4-4-2. Okay, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so sorry to answer your question, CJ. Like, I did not notice the formation in that, but what I did notice was the fact that he was actually willing to play both of them at the same time. Because I know that was one of the main points that Mehrdad had earlier on when the Isak signing came in. It's like, well, I don't think he's right. He's gonna play both of them, and he had to drop Salah, right? You see what I'm saying? No one expected that, right?
Yeah.
And it paid. It seems like it paid dividend from
Kirkens
them.
was dropped too, eh?
For
Like
Robertson.
Kirkens, he deserved to be dropped. Like Andy Robertson didn't do anything wrong. He's
Mhm.
been playing better every time that he's had his opportunity. He's been playing better than Kirkens.
And you see that pass he made for Ekitike to score that? That was a beautiful pass.
The worldie.
Yeah.
Like Robertson deserves to get a run in the squad. Like
Well, I agree. Like everyone keeps talking about this Kirkus thing and this whole new back four and this and that, but like all you have to do a little bit is sometimes revert back to type. Like Andy Robertson's been there, done that. So people have been ruling him out as if like it's a whole new back four and Andy Robertson doesn't exist. Like, and he left the way Trent did. Like Trent left, Robertson's still there. Like you could easily play Robertson at the back to steady the ship, right? A little bit more of a calm head, a mature head, somebody who's been there, done that. If you want to settle your back four a little bit and bring some familiarity to things, yeah, keep Robertson. Like he should be the starting back four. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much the level has dropped off that much where he's completely past it and he can't play anymore. I think they should keep him in over Kirkez a little bit for the time being, just to like get
100%.
yeah.
Kirkens does not deserve to be playing. He's been playing like shit. He's been playing like shit. And if Van Dijk has any say, he's gonna probably go to Arnie and be like, "Look, like Andy has to play." Bravo's
I
been key.
I think they have a problem at right back too, guys. Like Frimpong clearly is not a natural right back, and again, as we always say, the Premier League is a whole different ball game, right? It's one thing to be a fullback in the Bundesliga, with all due respect, but with the wingers and how devastating they are in the Premier League and the quality of them, like you have to be able to defend first and foremost in the Premier League, right? As if you're going to play as an out and out right back. So, and I think that's also why Salah's struggling too, guys. Let's be honest, right? He doesn't have the creativity of Trent behind him. He also didn't. He's not doing as much, or he wasn't always asked to do as much defending, Salah as well, right? He had the runners around him, which now, the midfielders aren't doing the running work for him. McAllister's a shadow of himself, or he has been for most of the season, and so if you're not playing Frimpong at right back, right, then you're playing what's his name, Bradley, right? Um, if you're playing Bradley there, again, there's no creativity there. With all due respect to that player, he's a straight defender more so than he has a creative outlet, which is why they've tried the whole Shabazz thing there. So I think Salah's suffering without that familiarity of Trent.
Hmm. Well, you got to figure it out.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, for Arne Slot, and from a neutral point of view, like they got to figure it out. But if as an Arsenal fan, I hope I long live the struggle, long live Arne Slot mismanaging players. I'm proving my point. Um, let's quickly go through the Premier League games so we can spend a little bit of time on the Chelsea game and the Arsenal game. Leeds open up match day 9 against West Ham. Nuno looking to build off on a couple good performances. Um, Again, it's going to be a relegation battle. Leeds, they're 16th. West Ham is 19th. If West Ham is able to pull it off, they do temporarily go out of the relegation zone because they're the first team to play. But if Burnley wins, then they drop back into the relegation zone. So not much to see there. Laurent, I know we chatted about it. Facing Sunderland at home. Sunderland's been hot. They've been on good form. Um, they're actually tied on points. It's only on goal differential that you guys are ahead. Do you think you guys will keep 11 on the field for that game?
Ah, yeah, that is a question, right? And honestly, like I said, right, those defensive mistakes, right, do come from us being nervous, from the errors that we create for ourselves. If we have, right, the type of performance that we had in the last game, and even right the game before that, more so the second half of that game, I'm confident, right? 11 men on the field, and it's an easy win for the Blues.
Mm, mm. What are you gonna do with your defenders? Who's gonna play right back? Because you don't have Malagusto.
So, see, that's you could put Reece James, but again, like I said, man, there's something about Caicedo there that is such it's reassurance beyond, you know, and it's almost to me it's akin to how Kimmich was for Bayern when he played that position because
Hmm.
those guys are more so like the intelligence of the game and then the physicality, right? They're dogs, like whereas a Gusto, right? It's almost like a gust of wind is enough to kind of like brush the guy aside, kind of thing, right? So um, yeah,
You
and
do not grade Malagusto, eh?
I do. Funny enough, I do, and then I think I've right. I have right, to vouch for him, but it's just I feel like his physicality isn't there yet, right? And it's let's be real, right? It's not on the same level as a Caicedo, right? And then again with that formation, right? You can even have Caicedo move up, right? Like how he did in that game, right? So now he's back in the defensive midfield role. Um, but yeah, no, I think we might see even a Tosin. I don't know if Hato is gonna get that start, and then a Kukureya on the left back. Yeah.
Um, Newcastle look like they're rolling, man. Honestly, they look scary, and the fact that we got a result away from home, was a really, really good result. Like I know St. James's Park is crazy to go to. They dominated Benfica, and now they welcome Fulham. Um, they got the number 9 position right. I think Voltamata is the real deal, and I think they know their talent acquisition for forwards is actually quite good. And I worry if they were able to keep this team together, I think they're just going to get better and better. Like just after this year and the following year, I think they're just going to get better. So we'll see. I think that's going to be an interesting game. But again, I still, if I'm a betting man, which I am, I would put Newcastle to dominate that game. I don't think Fulham stand a chance. Um, Huge game. United host Brighton after a very good result away from home after 10 years winning at Anfield. CJ, do you think Amarin keeps the winning or do you think Danny Welbeck spoils the party?
Yeah. I don't know, but if this is one of our predictions right now, I'm not giving you my answer anyways. We're gonna have to wait till we get to that
But
section.
yeah, but you can give a breakdown of what you
But
think.
I genuinely know, I genuinely don't even know right now. That's why I need to bide my time with this one because I have no idea. Like this is a difficult one to call. Brighton has shown they're a good Premier League outfit. You know, like they're once again I have a lot of respect for that club and what they've managed to do over the years. And this is the kind of grounds that they'll go to and get points, right, and take points away from the big boys. So it's going to be a very very fascinating battle and see how because United's riding high off of the wave of Anfield. Like if you asked me this before Anfield, I'd probably say Brighton gets 3 points. You know what I mean? But that Anfield result is massive for United, and I think it could kickstart their season. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be
The
interesting to
thing
see.
is, Danny Welbeck is playing so well that he's making a push for the England squad.
True, and he does always go to Old Trafford and score against his old club, doesn't he? Prove a point.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give too much away because we're predicting this one, but yeah, that one's going to be an interesting game. Um, Liverpool again played well against Frankfurt. Obviously, they won. Um, they're visiting Brentford in London. And I don't know if you guys saw that interview that Jurgen Klopp gave. He said, he wouldn't rule out a return to Liverpool. I think that was just smoke. I don't think there's any substance in that. I think he's waiting for the German national team. Um, but this is another big game for Liverpool because if they're unable, like, assuming that Arsenal will take care of business around against Palace, we go up to 22 points. And if Liverpool don't get at least a point, they're going to be down quite a bit already. They're sitting on 15 points right now. So this is a big game for them away from home. I mean, they have a really good performance, and Brentford, their league position doesn't do it justice, but they're a tough place to go. Their goal differential is -1. They're giving up as many goals as they're scoring, so they are able to put pressure on opponents. Um, we'll see. To be honest with you, I think this is going to be a draw. I don't think Liverpool win.
Really
Are you saying that with your heart or your head?
I'm saying that in my head.
interesting. Why? Where is this coming from?
I think the issues that they have in the back line, and I think their inconsistency in the midfield is gonna catch up to them again.
Wait, so what if he plays the same back line that was played for the Champions League, right? That seemed fairly solid, right? No Kirkez. You start with Robertson, right?
But the physicality in the Premier League is completely different than Champions League. Champions League is more technical. Champions League actually plays into Liverpool's strengths
Oh,
rather
so,
than Premier
so
League.
you're saying like Robertson, Konate, Van Dijk, these are physical guys. Like these are guys that can
They're
definitely keep up.
physical guys, but the like Robertson and all like again, that's just my thoughts. Like in the
Mm,
midfield, I think that's where they're gonna struggle, and I think Jordan Henderson's gonna have something to say.
mm,
I think Henderson's gonna want to try to perform against his old club,
right, right.
right? He's actually been playing well. Hendo's been playing really well. Some of the passes that he's been giving, like they've been playing well. So, um,
Okay, I got a question for you though.
yes,
So, let's say after this game, right? Dominant performance. Like it doesn't even have to be dominant, but this time, right? They don't scrape by. They actually get the win without all that last minute, right?
Liverpool, dude.
Yeah, Liverpool do,
Yeah?
right? Are you worried?
No.
Really?
Oh. They
Wow.
have
Okay.
too many chinks in their armor. I would not be worried.
Mm,
They still need to sign a right back and they still need another midfielder.
okay, so you're saying they're gonna need to bring in personnel to fix.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep. That's why I'm not worried. It's nothing to do with Arnie Slot. I think it's just the roster composition.
Mm.
Um,
Sorry, who started at right back in the Champions League for them?
Frimpong.
Frimpong started. Okay.
um, relegation battling, Wolves take on Burnley again. Wolves need to just get out of the bottom. They only have 2 points.
They're
Bur
doomed, man. They're
yeah,
doomed.
they're doomed. Burnley has 7. Um, not much to say there. Um, CJ,
Mm,
Arsenal, Palace, Eze facing his old club, Palace. Like crazy result today for them, losing 1-0 at home.
mm.
Conference League. Like such a terrible performance. And the messed up part is they actually played their strongest lineup and they're facing us Sunday and they played their strongest lineup.
Pretty close too. I mean, I saw Adam Morton didn't start, and I rate him. I think he starts in their midfield in the Premier League, but he's probably the only one.
Yeah, but like you're playing Mateta, you're playing Sar, you're playing like your front line that you want to be rested to really give a goal at our back line when you're going to be on short rest compared to Arsenal. Like, what's your breakdown of the game? What are you expecting to see?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I thought we were saving this one for last, but I can, yeah, quickly giving a little bit of a breakdown. I mean, look, I think we revert back to type in terms of our Premier League lineup from last weekend. I was thinking this and I was debating this. Does Martinelli come in after his performance in midweek? Does Myles Lewis-Skelly come in after his performance in midweek? But I think the way such as the rotation of the squad at the moment and the way Arteta's been managing to keep the squad healthy, I've been pretty impressed with Arteta's squad rotation lately. He's been doing a good job with that as well. So yeah, to be fair, I actually think, whilst I was debating in my head, who's going to start on that left side on the weekend, I think he will revert back to type, and I think it's going to go back to the Calafiori and Trossard left combination. So, again, because Trossard scored as well, right? So it's that healthy competition. Trossard scored last weekend in the Prem, and Martinelli scored midweek in the Champions League. I think if Trossard didn't score, I don't think he would have had a case to start this game. I think Martinelli would start. But because Trossard scored, I think that was his saving grace. Because Trossard didn't perform well last weekend at Craven Cottage, despite scoring the goal. But I think that will just about save him in the starting line. And yeah, Martinelli will continue to keep pushing and fighting. And I think that's what's helping him at the moment too, right? It's lighting that fire under the belly. They say, like Martinelli being dropped back to the bench may give him that extra bit of hunger and want to come in and perform again and continue to prove his point. So right now the system, whatever's working, is working. It's getting us the points. It's getting us the results. So maybe keep it as is. So I think it could be an unchanged lineup from last Premier League game. So Raya in goal, right? Tim Burke, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori in your back line. Your midfield three of Zubimendi, Rice, and Eze. And then front three, Trossard on the left, Gyökeres up top, and Saka on the right. Now, just quickly, we didn't really talk about our midfield much in the Champions League, but I think, with the midfield performance of well, all three of them, but I think a special honorable mention to Zubimendi. We are really seeing that guy's class shine through, and not just as a six, but you can see he's starting to make differences in the final third, right? I don't know
Mhm.
if you guys saw this in the second half, but just a little bit of that Spanish flair, right? When he got the ball
Yeah.
on the edge of the box with his back to goal, flicked it up a little bit, and then a second touch in the air to put Gyökeres in, and Gyökeres just got a toe on it right when he had to stretch, and Oblak came out and kind of made himself big and blocked the shot. But just that little bit of invention and a little bit of trickery from Zubimendi, just the things on the training ground that you don't teach, right? They don't teach you those things. It's just that little bit of a that footballing IQ and that magic. Typical like Iniesta style or Xavi style, like that Spanish flair that you like I said, you don't teach that stuff, right? Just the presence of mind in that area to just flick it up and then that second touch in the air, volley it over to Gyökeres. He's made a big difference to the team. He settles us down. He keeps things calm, keeps things ticking over, and yeah, I think he's been a big presence for us, and I think he'll be massive again in this game for us, as well as Declan Rice and Eze. Right, we need to see a little bit more from Eze. I think the three of us, need to kind of have a thought on how we see Eze performing on Sunday. This is against his old club, and guys, we've seen Declan Rice struggle initially when he's faced his old club in West Ham. Right, he'll play well in all the other games, Declan Rice, but at the beginning whenever time we played West Ham, Rice would struggle, particularly at home at the Emirates. So how do you guys see Eze's performance? I'm a little bit not worried, but I have one eye on that, and I'm a little bit concerned that it'll be an emotional game for Eze, and he may, I don't know, maybe go missing or maybe a little bit hiding. He's playing his old club. There's a lot of love and affection there. We don't have an Odegaard, so it's kind of extra pressure on Eze to step up in this one. Like I'm a little bit concerned about that one. I don't know what you guys think.
I think he's gonna dominate. I
Mm.
think he just wants to make a statement. I think he's gonna go in. I think he's gonna try to get a goal, get an assist, or something like that. I think he's gonna try to dominate. He's gonna want to try to close the chapter. You know, like he was an Arsenal boy through and through. They helped him a lot, but I think he's gonna yeah, I think he's gonna try to dominate.
Laurent?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the mindset for him, right, should be to look to perform well, right? Especially in order to cement also, right, himself within the team. Because I think we can all agree, right, that the expectations uh, laid on that player, right, have not yet been met.
Hmm.
But on the other end as well, right, I do think that the Crystal Palace players might go a little extra hard on him.
Hmm.
It's a former guy, right, that did leave you behind, and I think that you can play to that, right? As a Crystal Palace player, right? So you kind of want to let him know that, hey, man, even if you've moved on in the world, right? Like, we're still here, kind of thing. So that should be interesting, right? But hopefully it's a great game all around, right? And we get to see a lot of goals, right? And hopefully more. I'd say I want to say no more set pieces or no more corner FC, but you got to do what you got to do to win, right? But if you guys are gonna give us that, then at least give us a few open plays, and hopefully the boy MLS can also right confuse the defenders a bit more this game as well, and create another one of those runs. So yeah.
I think with Gyökeres too, like those goals in midweek, it should give him the extra confidence. I hope as well.
Mm.
To perform, right? Because we were waiting for him to get some sort of springboard to start, kind of letting the goals flow now, and I hope that was it. To be honest with you, but I am overall a little bit not giving anything away with predictions and things like that. But I'm not sleeping on this game. This is going to be a tough game for us, I think, a really really tough game against a good Crystal Palace team.
Yeah.
It's at the
Um,
Emirates, right?
yes,
Hmm.
it is. Yes, it is. Um, Aston Villa, they host Man City. Um, Villa again, they had a terrible performance in Europa today.
Yeah, disappointing result. I saw that.
Very disappointing result for them. I think they had one eye. I think the players had one eye on the game this weekend because that's a huge game for them, and they might be able to help us if they can get a result. I don't know if they can win, but even if they hold City to a draw, it would help us.
Who's home? I think Villa's home. Yeah.
Villa's home. Villa's home. Um, Bournemouth host the new look Nottingham Forest, and I was keeping an eye on this game, but
Hey, they looks like they won their first win
really,
in
Yeah, I watched that game.
that's a good result because Porto's no slouch. Sean Dyche has officially taken over, and the Sean Dyche era has started. He is very good at keeping teams up in the Prem, and Forest currently are sitting in 18th in the relegation zone. So if they win, they move up to 9 points. So it's gonna be good, but I do not see them unfortunately getting a result because Bournemouth at home, Antoine Semenyo, um, Evan Nielsen, like I do not see unfortunately Forest getting a result, and I think they're gonna have to wait another week to get another win in the Prem. Their first one in like six in the Prem.
So
Uh,
you saying it was more so like a reactionary win this one?
no, I think it was a good win, but I like again, you're facing Bournemouth.
Mm.
I think if like Bournemouth is at the vitality, like it's going to be a tough game, and I don't think that Sean Dyche can do it for this game. Not saying they're not going to win games. I think they'll win, but not this game. I do not see them getting a result at Bournemouth. And then last game of the weekend, Everton host Spurs. Grealish can officially play again because he was off for a week because of the FA rules around the loanees facing their partner, their home club. Um, Grealish needs to do whatever he can to help Everton if he wants to make the World Cup. Because again, some of the players in that left wing position and the fact that he can play different positions in the midfield, like he's got a lot of competition, and I don't like genuinely. I hope he makes it because I think Grealish would do great for England, but I don't think he will because I don't think he has a defensive work rate, and I think Tuchel wants that, especially going in for England. Like he wants those players that track back and have the pace and they can make up ground. It'll be an interesting game. I do think that Everton will win, and I think they're just going to put more pressure on Nando's FC. Like the Spursiness of Spurs will always be there. I don't think you can ever take the Spursy out of Spurs. Um, Predictions, Mr. Laurent. You had a chance to catch up and go three for three, but you decided to pick Arsenal draw against Atleti. CJ and I swept 3 points each. We're up to 22. Laurent, you got 2 points. You're sitting at 16, so you're six behind um, both CJ and I. So let's start with you. Arsenal Palace. What do you predict, sir?
It is at the Emirates. I'm gonna go with an Arsenal win.
Wow. Wow.
Yep, I'm going Arsenal win.
Bravo.
CJ?
Bravo, Laurent. Bravo. I'm also going with an Arsenal win.
Right.
I
Chelsea.
think, you know what, funny enough, I think what makes the victory over Atletico even more impressive from our perspective is that, Laurent, you even said it was going to be a draw, you know? So last thing I'll say in terms of don't take away any credit from our victory because obviously clearly there's many people who thought that was going to be a tough game.
Yeah, well, listen, I'll say this, man. You want tough, you got to face Champions League winning caliber teams. All right, so Atletico.
We did beat Real Madrid. I mean, that wasn't too long ago. But yeah, sure.
Chelsea Sunderland. Laurent.
I'm not gonna say anything, but Chelsea.
Do I do it?
Bro, just do it, man. Don't think about it.
Do I do it? Ah.
Just say draw, bro. Just say draw.
Ah. Ah. Who's suspended for you guys? Just Malagusto?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, bro.
Oh
Just say draw,
God.
man.
Uh, oh my God.
I'm going Chelsea.
You're going Chelsea, eh? Hmm.
Bro, this could get you ahead, bro. You know, in the standings. If you get the draw,
Oh no, they're
He's
missing.
trying to he's trying to force it out of you.
No, 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 no. They're missing their best defender. No, no, no. I'm going Chelsea.
Who? Dan Ballard? Is it or
No.
who?
Um, Alderete, their
Hmm.
center back. He's out. Yeah, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna do anything stupid.
Look at
Last
this guy doing
week,
his homework during the test.
no, because I have him on my fantasy.
He's in your team?
He's in my team. Yeah.
Hmm.
United Brighton, Laurent.
This one I have no fucking idea. I swear.
it's at United, right?
Yeah, it's at Old Trafford.
Hmm.
Not gonna lie, I don't see Brighton winning this game. Uh, so it's either a draw or a United win for me.
I don't like that I did this, boys. Let's go back to Everton Spurs.
You know what? I'm gonna go United.
I
Wow.
feel like, bro, this guy's he's a low-key United fan, I swear.
No, I just think
You wouldn't
it
have a
seems like
kick?
it seems like
Facts.
Amarin is coming around, and his players I think are starting to have faith in him. I think that's the most important part, right? You have a system, and your players are willing to trust in that and actually play. Um, and plus, right, it seems like he's also willing to adapt the whole, putting him out there as a false nine. Um, right. So let's see. Yeah, but I'm gonna go right, the home advantage. I think these guys have a point to prove, bro. Especially that Harry Maguire guy. He could be the Gabriel for them, man.
Okay, please don't ever compare Maguire to Gabriel.
This man said, "Here's fuck." Um,
He does
I
come in
bet
clutch. He does, bro. You can't deny that he doesn't. He does come in clutch with the goals that he scores.
coming
You
in
cannot
clutch
deny that.
and coming in clutch and comparing him to Gabriel, the highest scoring defender since he came
I
into.
mean, mind you, you compared MLS to Ryan Robin.
I did?
No, no, you know who I'm talking about, right? You compared MLS to Iron Robin.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did. It was an indirect comparison, but it was comparison nonetheless.
I did not.
Thank God that this podcast is recorded
That's
and
what I'm saying.
y'all motherfuckers can go
Yeah,
back and look at it. I'm gonna say draw. I don't think United win.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, Laurent, where's your United kit hiding, bro? Because this guy loves United, I swear. I don't think they win though, to be honest. Um,
Got you down for a draw?
yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be a draw. Yeah.
Okay. Well, take us away, CJ.
Oh shit, is that the end?
There.
Whoa, we are at the end. Episode where are we? Where are we? What episode are we? Episode number?
You?
52?
You're 52? Yeah, I think we're 52. Yeah, 52.
Jeez, episode, yeah, 52, man. Here we are still going strong for y'all, bringing the info, the information, the entertainment, the bants, the rants, all the good stuff. Got a
Pan.
couple what?
Don't mind me. It's okay.
Oh, okay, okay. But anyways, yeah, we're here. We're here for y'all twice a week as usual. And you know what to do. Each and every week, like and subscribe, you know, hit that bell and do what you got to do. This is for y'all. This is for the people. We're just three fans, of football, um, and we're here to just shoot the shit and chat, and again deliver that content for you guys. Right? Everybody needs their outlet. Everybody needs to vocalize, um, and discuss and rant about their passions and about the things that they support, they love, and from a football perspective, that's what we're here to do. Week in, week out. So yeah, hit the like, subscribe. Don't listen to Laurent's foolishness about Arjen Robben and MLS. Man is just trying to deflect out of his United supporting ways.
definitely
But
not trying to reflect. But run the tape back, coach, and you
yeah,
guys will see, right, that almost in the same breath, these guys trying to compare the runs that MLS is making to the ones that Aaron Rodgers made. Talking about
see, I'm pretty
we
sure
we
what I said.
we
This
all
is what I
know
said, people.
what happens, right? No, man, no,
This
you
is what
can't.
I said. So
The
I
fact
said
that you
studying. Didn't I say studying? I said studying
just
a
just
player, correct?
just stop. Don't. Why would you even use that player then? That's my point, right?
But the
We're talking.
example of studying. Here's what we're talking
No,
about. I was talking about when you
nah,
do your
man.
homework and you study, right? When you study something and you're studying how to defend a player,
Bro,
that's where Arjen Robben come in.
no
No
one
one
studies
directly
MLS
said,
the same way you study Iron Robin, bro.
but
Don't
you
even go
understand.
there.
But if you were educated and went to school, you'll
Bro, it's like
understand that
calculus
I
101.
said
right? It's like
Studying.
calculus versus like arithmetic at this point, right?
But
That's
didn't I say
that's a
studying?
difference. That's a difference,
Didn't I
right?
say studying? You said, hold on. You said
That's what.
Maguire is like Gabriel. Did I say that? MLS and Arjen Robben?
You know, I can argue
Oh,
that
oh,
my
oh, oh,
comparison.
okay,
No, I'm
okay,
not denying that my comparison
okay.
was more so
So then don't
straightforward,
try
right?
that.
It was a direct comparison, but you still tried indirectly to compare that player, right? And I think you even mentioned Messi, in like a few sentences before you mentioned Arjen Robben, right?
That one makes even more sense than the Robin one. The Robin one was not even a direct comparison, so I don't know why you're trying to slide that
Yeah,
in there
but
and get out.
you
You're
can
like
have
that kid who didn't do his homework
you
and
can
tries
have
to copy off of the A student. Don't do
you can
that.
have direct comparisons and you can have indirect comparisons, right?
Yeah, and
Let's get that straight,
yeah,
right?
but a direct
All right.
comparison is completely different than an indirect comparison. When I'm talking about studying and doing homework to study a player, right? That's the context I'm using. I never once said MLS is Arjen Robben. That's basically what you're saying about Maguire and Gabriel. You cannot use those two in the same breath.
I never said that.
What did you say?
That's one thing. Now you're reaching. I never said
No, I'm
that.
not.
I I said that
No, I'm not.
Maguire is Gabriel. That's what
Yes,
that's what you're.
yes, yes. You
Like
said
what, bro? Like, come
Maguire.
on.
Wait.
You
Huh?
said, hold on. You said Maguire is their Gabriel.
Right. That is outrageous.
Yeah, in a sense, in terms of like scoring the headers. Yeah, but
Oh.
we're not talking. Yeah, no, because
The recording has stopped.
what else are we talking about, right? Scoring the headers. Come in clutch, right? That's what Gabriel does for you. And you cannot say that that's not what Maguire does for United, because he's come in clutch for them on numerous occasions last year. He's bailed them out. And he
They
did all
build
the
them out from what, 16th to 15th?
bro, that guy not that
Don't
that guy
compare the two
no,
players, please.
no. That guy has had some and what's crazy too is, right? You can argue, right, that and say that, but mind you, right? I think he was bashed. Like he was made a meme at that club. Like you just try to picture that, right? Like guy like
I
dealing
said
with
that in our other pod.
with that kind of psychological, right, backlash, and he's still showing up, right? So it just shows to you, right, the fortitude and the resilience of a player, right? Because a lot of players fold under that kind of pressure. A lot of players don't want to hear it from fans, right? Or they start doing, probably blocking their social media or doing Salah type shit, right? Yeah, but no, like he's still there. And then he scored against, right? I think he scored against Liverpool, no?
He did. He scored the game winner.
All right. Like, look at that. Look at that. A player that comes in clutch for you against the Premier League winners, right? So that has to be noted. But I do apologize, right? If an offense was taken in terms of him being like your hero, that is Gabriel. I would rescind, right? And say more so his ability to score clutch goals, right, with the use of the head, is akin to how Gabriel scores his clutch goals with the use of the head. I think that's
how about this? Let's do this. Let's compare him in terms of clutch. Let's compare him to Didier Drogba. Does that work?
Oh, that does not work.
No? Okay.
That does not work at all. But nice try though.
Sorry.
Nice try though.
Clutch and headers, and I just tried to tie it all in.
But Didier Drogba scores some with the foot too, bro. I've never seen Maguire or Gabriel score with the foot.
Is that where Chris Wood comes in?
No, he doesn't even enter the room, man. He does not even enter the room, man.
On that bombshell.
Like and subscribe, people. Thank you for watching.
Adios.